Alice Madness Returns is a psychological horror action-adventure game developed by Spicy Horse and released in 2011. It's a sequel to the 2000 game American McGee's Alice, and it continues the dark twisted retelling of Lewis Carroll's Alice's adventure in Wonderland. The game follows Alice Liddell, who, after losing her family in a house fire, struggles with survivor's guilt and trauma. She delves into a corrupted Wonderland, a manifestation of her mind, to uncover the truth behind her past to regain her sanity. The game's narrative and visual design are heavily influenced by Alice's psychological state, resulting in a beautifully macabre and twisted version of Wonderland. The game's creator, American McGee, is known for his dark and twisted takes on classic tales. He originally worked at ID Software and contributed to games like Doom and Quake before moving on to create his version of Alice. So today I'm not only going for the Platinum Trophy, but also the 100%. So I started my game on my daily therapy session, with my doctor hypnotizing me to forget all about the game and start focusing on the sponsor for this video. I'm just kidding, I don't have any sponsors yet. But as I was walking down the street, I was summoned by the Wild Witch of the West. She drugged me up and now I'm in Wonderland. And this is where I got a couple trophies at the beginning for entering Wonderland, like picking up Alice's signature knife and acquiring the pepper grinder, which I would need to kill 5 bolterflies with in a row. Trophy. Grind them all. And I would also need this to shoot a bunch of pig snouts throughout the game, which are, might I add, one type of many collectibles that I had to find. Eventually, I also got to upgrade my weapons. Hell yeah. Yep, Warble Blade 2, baby, let's go. No longer 1. Trophy. Strike a deal. While traversing and fighting my way through a bunch of the tea goblin things in like a teapot village. Don't mind me committing massive genocide in like the townsfolk of... And blowing on the world's biggest horn, summoning a teapot sky tramp to conclude the Vale of Tears. In the next area, I had to help the Mad Hatter get all of his limbs back. And good thing I rolled by to lend a hand. And while roughly following a guide for all the collectibles, I managed to pepper all the snouts for chapter 1. Alright, that should be the last snout. Trophy. Nothing like the smell of bacon. And concluding the Mad Hatter's story, wrapping up the first chapter of the game. After waking up from getting drugged, some fine gentlemen found me by the docks.
Take her over to the Mango Mermaid. Rent a bed.
What did he say?
Here I found Alice's former nanny getting harassed by another fine gentleman. This is where she stepped in and tried to help her. Obviously, Alice got knocked out, resulting in her going back to Wonderland. Here I found myself in an icy domain, where I got another weapon called the Hobby Horse. Trophy. Strange hobby. Which I then used to pound my 100th enemy with. Trophy. No quarter, no mercy. For the Cold Arms, Cold Heart trophy, I had to defeat the sailor without taking any damage. I did this on my first try without even knowing what the trophy was for, and it did say without taking any damage, but for some reason it still popped even after I got hit by a worm. So I guess it's just not to get hit by the sailor himself. Trophy!
Much trouble?
For shooting the moon, I needed to collect 4 jars of rose paint. Rose paint is pretty much what Alice uses to permanently upgrade her health bar. And these are only found in these little realms where I either have to answer riddles or survive for an X amount of time. Nice. Trophy! Shooting the moon. In this chapter, I had to help the carpenter finish the preparations for the show, so I had to go around town helping the dancing fish people make it. Once the show was ready, it turned out that the whole show was just an excuse for the walrus to literally eat everyone, like his own little buffet. But that was another trophy for finishing chapter 2. Trophy. Waking up from the knockout punch from Mike Tyson, Alice went to see her family's lawyer, who was in possession of her rabbit, which Alice had another episode which caused her to faint and ended up in a more eerie Wonderland from before. This is also where I got another weapon for Alice, probably my favorite one too, and this is the teapot cannon. Trophy. Death by Darjeeling? The hell? Noob moment as well, because I eventually found out that I could level up all my weapons in the start menu. Oh, I don't need a store. I can just upgrade it whenever. That is actually crazy. Trophy. More than a mouthful. I then find this magical painting where it turns the game into a side-scroller. Here I needed to collect all the peaches. It's the last peach. I think this is all I need. Oh, trophy. And finding the Easter egg that the developers left. They also made sure it was a trophy so everyone could see. There it is. Spicy horse. Should be a trophy as well. Trophy. In this chapter, I met with Caterpillar, who helped Alice recover more of her memories, and telling me to find the Queen of Hearts to answer more of Alice's questions. I now woke up in jail because the cops found Alice passed out and didn't know where else to put her, which was really nice of them to look after Alice like that. After stepping out of the police station though, she ended up passing out again. Jeez. But now we're back in Wonderland once more to confront the Queen herself. In this chapter, there's a chessboard puzzle which I'll need to solve without failing, which honestly was the easiest silver trophy of my life. Oh, okay. Alright, that's simple enough, I guess. Trophy. Also for defeating 52 card guards. Trophy. And destroying 10 ruin barriers.
Food looms large, Alice, but cake occupies a special place. Never rejected dessert, I suspect. Nor tea if cake was on
Trophy.
offer.
Reaching the end of the chapter, Alice eventually finds the main baddie in the first game, but now with a different look. She helps Alice remember even more, also ending chapter 4. Alice now found herself reliving her time in the asylum. After snapping out of that memory, she finds a bleeding insane child, with the child asking her to save the other children, which at this point I was confused if Alice was still knocked out or not. But after agreeing to it, I was now in the dollhouse chapter of the game, and this is where I finally upgraded all my weapons to max. I think last of the horse, all of them is upgraded. Trophy. I also found out way later in the game that I could pull out combos with the Vorpal Blade and the Hobby Horse. Weapons schizo. And completing all the Radula rooms in the game. Trophy. For that's using your head, I had to complete the minigame where I control a doll head in under 6 minutes. Weird little minigame and honestly something I wasn't a huge fan of. And finally collecting all the Liddell memories. With Alice finally piecing it all together, she finally got her memories back, which she then pieced together on who killed her family. And it was none other than her own psychiatrist, Angus Bumby. Also wrapping up chapter 5. After waking up, I now had to confront Bumby, which will result in the final boss fight. Here I found out that Bumby not only locked Alice's parents in while burning their house down, but also doing some ungodly stuff to her sister. And since this is a trigger word and I'd like this video to be monetized still, I'll let you guys piece together what kind of a piece of human shit Bumby was. And this was before incapacitating her, so obviously it was time to put this man to the ground, 6 feet deep. But first I had to beat his monstrous form in Wonderland. After beating the boss, Alice has now gained the confidence of what must be done. Just before his final moments, Bumby saw the Wonderland Alice for the first time, pushing him to his death and finally beating the game. And this would get me 3 trophies. One for beating the game on easy, beating the game on normal, and only using the Hysteria ability once. But now it was time for the cleanup. One is for equipping a different dress for Alice, and collecting the last piece of memories that I missed. And the last snout in the game that I also missed the first time. Before going for the plat, I decided to finish the game's DLC first, which is actually the first game of the series back in 2000. And this is where my pain and struggle begins. And it's not even going to be in combat, but the platforming aspects of the game. The first chapter was pretty cake, since all I had to do was fight a couple of the card guards, so finishing the game then was a breeze. Trophy. Madness begins. The second chapter, however, is where the death ride to hell begins. In one of the sections here, I just could not for the life of me kill this one flying enemy, and he would push me off over and over again.
God damn it.
And I literally have spent 2 hours trying to figure out where to go. And since this is an old game, they didn't really have any waypoints or objective markers yet. So I'm literally over here roaming around figuring out what I missed, only to slip on a hole and fall to my death once again.
Oh shit. What? Okay.
Which I then had to go grab this jack-in-a-box again, only to get pushed off again.
God, I hate getting lost so much.
But finally I figured out how to progress, and this little gnome dude was on top of the hall this whole time. And I would finally finish chapter 2.
Of course, there's rocks. Trophy. School lever.
Chapter 3 is where I lost my patience the most. In the very beginning of the chapter, I had to climb up the mountain to progress. Simple enough, right? Except for the fact that I didn't know where to go next. And I would spend a long time just circling around this area figuring out where to go. Until I tried jumping on this ledge again and...
Except for the fact that I can't get to the high ground. What? Okay. Okay, game.
But it was short-lived since I was met by a whole boulder to my face.
At least I made it to the high ground.
So now I had to run back to avoid getting crushed, only to be met by another boulder along the way.
I should be fine here, right? Let's go. I mean, the game is fine for like a PS1. I mean, it is a PS1 game. I think it's pretty cool. I like the ho, baby.
But after making it on top, I met a cowfish thing who I had to help get his shell back. So we ended up floating downstream on a piece of leaf. And let me tell you, if you fall off the leaf, you might as well restart because I literally was assaulted by every living being known to man.
God. Leaf, please! Don't leave me! Oh, there's another leaf. There's another. Alright. Leaf. Help!
Also remember when I said that this game was made in 2000? Yeah, so there's no autosaves. Which meant...
Oh my god, I'm back here.
Here chat told me that I can manually save at any point in the game, which was huge.
Isn't there a manual save function? Jordy, you are actually a beast, dude.
But not huge enough for me from falling to my death again.
What the hell?
Getting stuck then randomly blowing up.
What the Huh?
And at this point the game wasn't even trying anymore because I got stuck and straight up disappeared.
Don't you do it.
Whoo! But I made it to the boss fight and literally blowing her brains out.
I start sneezing. Oh my god! God damn! Sneeze her brains out!
And drowning on the next segment because I didn't know that I had to stay within the bubbles to get air. Only to go 30 minutes away from that point because I forgot to save my game. I did manage to make it further into the chapter until I fell off mid-swing to my death. The literal ground breaking on me, which made me fall to my death.
Okay, let's backtrack. Let's backtrack. I didn't go this way. All right, I think this is the way. I think this is the way. Oh my! Oh my! Oh my!
Missing the vine the first time, which made me fall to my death. What the fuck? And just not even jumping this time because my brain was literally fried from all the falling. I don't even know what happened here, but all you guys need to know is that I died to my death. What? And I also got chased by the world's most determined boulder.
What kind of boulder? Alright, ain't no way this boulder is gonna follow me all the way up here, bro. Okay, dude. What the heck? It's like a homing missile, man. Alright, it just ain't no way. There's just ain't no, it's ice. I thought it was water. What the fuck?
And forgetting to save again, so I ended up taking a break from this DLC.
Ain't no way. I thought it saved. I thought the game saved. I thought it saved. I thought it saved. You know what, dude? I will finish the DLC later.
So I decided to go back to the main game's trophies and just leave one for the plat, so I can go back and finish the DLC later on. Originally, I was going to run the nightmare difficulty on this game legitimately, but after that DLC, my patience was already at an all-time low. Now I say legitimately because there is a way to cheese the hardest difficulty trophies for this game. So first off, I had to finish this chapter on nightmare. And after that, I had to save my game and go back to the menu, then choose the last episode of that chapter and finish that. And this would get me my first trophy for beating chapter 1 on Nightmare. So basically, I do that for all the chapters, and that was 2 more trophies. For Nayslayer, I had to hit 4 enemies with a single ground smash. It sounded simple enough, but it actually was pretty tricky to pull off. And for this, I had to do on one of the wave areas, and just kept spamming this thing until I got it.
Was that 4? Why does it look like I keep hitting 4 people, but I'm not hitting 4 people? Oh, there we go. Trophy.
Also for killing 10 of the flying babies with a deflection, and killing 30 enemies with the clockwork bomb. With this one, I just did it on the first game with the bolter flies.
Good luck on the dildo monsters as well. There we go. Beware of Lagomorph. Trophy.
For the calm in the face of death, I had to kill 5 enemies while on 1 HP without activating Hysteria, which I equipped the red dress since this thing gave me 4 roses max. So I dropped my health bar until I was 1 hit, and then I started spamming the teapot cannon to get my 5 kills.
There we go.
For Ship of Fools, I had to finish this boat section without getting hit. Fairly easy because I just had to dodge all the incoming sharks and finish the segment.
There we go, trophy.
And finally, just spending 7 minutes in total on one of the stream vents. Now with just 1 more trophy for the main game, I decided to go back to the DLC and wrap that up. And I legitimately realized where I left off. I did manage to make it out eventually, only to die the stupidest way possible.
What the f...
Again.
Why are you not jumping? Why are you sliding?
And again. And finally, finishing the chapter.
Trophy.
Now I'm in the land of chess and I had to move around as certain chess pieces to progress, finding out the hard way that it's not as simple as I thought it was. In one of the areas where I had to avoid the spikes, I ended up getting stuck on the spots where I should have died.
Am I stuck? Oh, that's actually stupid.
And for some reason, my brain kept thinking I could avoid the spikes if I moved fast enough. But again, it would just trap me in place and force me to load my save.
What the f...
And the majority of the time, the game just would not register my jump, so it just looked like I was walking off to my death. And that was pretty much the entire journey for this DLC, and it's just me constantly falling to my death, and just flat out getting beasted by enemies. After getting lost multiple times and of course dying a whole bunch, I finally beat the Mad Hatter.
Oh, trophy.
In the final stretch of the game, I can now enjoy the sweet embrace of lava this time around, instead of just the dark abyss that I normally fall into.
Bro. Nice. You're getting yanked me out of there. It's freaking. Oh. Oh. Or or just don't jump. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
But after all those deaths, I made it to the boss area, which was short-lived because this boss actually killed me so fast, and me forgetting to save my game yet again.
Damn it, dude.
And I was back again, just constantly dying to lava. And at this point, I was already starting to lose my mind. Like literally my brain shutting off from all the frustration I was trying to hold in. After beating that boss, which he was only on his first phase, mind you, I died a billion more times after until I reached his final phase. But I did end up finishing this chapter.
Oh, trophy, let's go.
And now it was time for the final part of this DLC, thank God. But here is where I would fight his second phase, where he once again showed me why he was just better than me in every possible way.
Oh my god.
And after that horrendous fight, it was finally over, and now we're back to our regularly scheduled programming.
But where do I go? But where do I go?
And finally, making it to the last boss of the game, I had to fight the Red Queen.
Let's go, baby.
Where she also had 2 phases. And now it was time to lock in.
Ow. Okay.
All I had to do was to shoot her and pretty much run around until I can get to use my gun again.
See, I don't understand if he has like invincibility frames.
With the last shot of my blunderbuss, however, I have finally beaten the DLC.
Are you dead? What's happening? Are you dead? Is that your final move? Oh. Nice. Let's go, full recovery. Trophy!
And with that out of the way, it was time for the last trophy, and this trophy is called Pulling His Strings. For this trophy, I had to defeat the doll maker without taking any damage. And honestly, I saved this for last because I thought that it was going to be the hardest one here, but it turned out that it was actually pretty easy. But after beating the boss one last time, that's going to be our platinum trophy.
I don't think I got it. Oh, let's freaking go. And it's done, baby. That was easy. I thought that was gonna be hard.
And that was it for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed my suffering, and of course, don't forget to subscribe for more platinum content, and you can also find me on Twitch, where I stream all my runs live. And with that being said, till next time, keep it real, but not too real, because that's just boring. And I hope everyone has a phenomenal day. Trophy!